I also have the concern that in our efforts to really paint Israel with the face that it deserves to have because of their actions, it's really, you don't have to do that much to show them who they really are. On the other hand, you have a lot of these Islamic nations that they would not tolerate people like us either. And so when we think about the wars that are ensuing and the future of our relationships to these various nations, what do you think about that? What are your thoughts on that? Because I am someone who am traditional Orthodox Christian, and I know that I would not be allowed. In fact, we have been driven out from those lands too. So just playing a little devil's advocate, we don't have to change the subject if you don't want to, but that's just another insight that I'm having from my perspective, from my life journey.
No, I think it's fair. I think that, listen, Christians are probably the most persecuted people in the world, depending on, where and when. I think that that's a real issue. I also think that you get to a point where you kind of have to take things issue by issue. And if you look at the history of Palestine, because it's not Israel, it's Palestine. Mm-hmm. They call it Israel, but whatever. If you look at the history prior to 1948, the Jews and the Muslims got along just fine. In fact, it was considered a safe haven for a lot of Jews that were fleeing persecution in Europe as a means to protect themselves from Nazi Germany. But ultimately, the Zionist project is very much in some ways like the Patriot Act. The Zionist project was something that was created by fanaticists in the 1850s, I believe. And then over time, they seized their opportunity a century later, but it was something that was built up over time. Much like the Patriot Act was many, many years prior to 9/11. They had to find an opportunity in order to get it through. Well, the Zionist movement seized on the Holocaust to push through their Zionist state. And that's what has created so much of this anti-Muslim bloodshed in the States, and also the anti-Christian bloodshed that exists in some of the Muslim nations around the world. Mm-hmm. If you massacre people out of their land where their ancestors are from, remember, there's a substantial portion of the Zionist population is Eastern European. They're not from the Middle East. In fact, do you gentlemen know where the number one nation in the world for skin cancer is? Do you know what it is?
Israel.
By far.
Because regionally, they're not from there.
Correct. They don't have the skin tone. Mm-hmm. I can't live in the desert because I, unlike you guys, do not have enough melatonin in my skin in order to sustain it. It's not healthy. I can get skin cancer.
We'll bring some sunblock for you, brother. Don't worry about it.
Thank you. I'll wear it on the SPF 100 every day. And what fun is that?
You're giving me flashbacks being on the campaign trail in the midsummer.
Listen, it takes a while for me to get some good color, but I can do it. It just takes a while. You could be done in 10 minutes. So the heck with you. You have it a little too easy with that Mediterranean skin. But for me, it's more about the fact that they have moved in melanin. Yes, I said it wrong, Irene. I apologize. This is our problem now. And this is the whole libertarian aspect of our politics. It wouldn't be such an issue if we weren't directly involved. And yes, modern monetary theory is a real thing. The government prints money and it spends it, and then we get taxed. Well, the government is spending money to aid and abet a genocide and now potentially a world war. Where do we have a say in this? Where do we, the people, get to say, I'm not on board with this. I'm not doing this. Why should we defend these people right here?
It doesn't matter who your enemy is. You need to destroy their offspring to prevent them from creating more offspring.
I just think we need to kill them, every one of them, and that's it.
Speaking about more than 2 million Arabs.
Mm-hmm. This lady is one of the biggest psychopaths walking the earth. She's one of the true leaders of the Zionist movement, just so you guys know.
They will not stay there. We, Jews, will be in Gaza.
That sounds like ethnic cleansing.
That seems sociopathic.
I can...
Doesn't it?
No, not at all. This is normal.
No, a single loaf of bread should go there.
They're starving to death.
Who cares? Fuck them. They're subhuman. They're beneath us. See, guys, that's what real racism looks like.
Yeah, I saw an interview of an IDF soldier that was also saying, I just want to bomb Gaza. I don't care if they're children. I want to kill all of them, There's obviously a radicalization that has taken place. What they're taught, I remember Jen also shared her story, her upbringing, the way that they teach them in schools. And sure, the other side, you can say that Palestinian children are also raised to be martyrs and to this and that. But I mean, from where they are, death and genocide is all that they have known their whole entire lives. When you ask, why are we aiding and abetting Israel? Why do we continue to support them? I think you have to look at leadership, and the American leadership that's compromised by Israel. And I think this does go back to leaders doing some real weird, illegal things and being blackmailed for it. And I just think that they will never give up supporting Israel because they know that their reputation is on the line. And I think that the amount of dirt that Israel has on American leadership, including our entertainers and people influencers in the United States, it's so deep that it would be a national security crisis for all of this to come to light. So I think that's why they continue to aid and abet Israel.
That's fair. Osiris?
Yeah, Lindsey Graham just posted on X, "Game on, pray for Israel."
Oh my God.
And my thought right now is I'm done with democracy, representative republic. It doesn't matter. What matters is what are the morals of the people who represent you?
Yeah.
And there's no fixing this. The people that represent us, their morals is their power, money. They couldn't care less about anything else. And I've talked to people on the right about mass deportations and stuff. And I'm like, I don't blame you for that, but what does that really fix? It doesn't fix what we're seeing here. It doesn't fix the war problem. It doesn't fix that our politicians are bought out by another country. So why is that the focus? I think we're lost right now.
Anytime you see an elected official, and the fact of the matter is, guys, there's not enough people that do the on-the-ground work in our nation's capital like you should. That is why I personally love the Ron Paul Institute, but I also love CodePink and the work that Medea Benjamin and her organization has been doing on the ground for years and years and years. When some scum-sucking Zionist piece of shit like Congressman Brad Sherman from Southern California is walking into the lunchroom in the U.S. Capitol, this is how they should be treated. Every time, every day.
As you eat your breakfast here in
Please
Congress,
leave me alone.
As you eat your breakfast here in Congress, we are funding the forced starvation of the Palestinian people.
You are working for the genocide of the Jewish people.
Oh God, I'm a
support
Jew.
Hamas, and you're.
I'm a Jew, sir. It is not the genocide of Jews. It's the genocide of civilians.
They're harassing everybody that comes in here.
I am a big pussy and I can't defend myself against a bunch of little ladies. Now, can I please eat my lunch in private? Man, he gives off Woody Allen vibes if he ever did. Holy fuck.
We, as you're eating your breakfast, we are forcibly starving the people of Palestine.
Hey, that's a hell of a lot of blood money. $700,000 from the Israel lobby. It's a lot of money. But he'll never wash his hands of it. And yeah, they don't like being bothered. Wasserman Schultz, as you know, Anthony, she just avoids public at like all costs.
She's mastered the art of avoiding public.
Yeah.
She's mastered the art of it.